Welcome to Sunshine Cathedral's Queer God Squad. It's Wednesday, March 11th, 2026. I am Bishop Durrell Watkins, the Senior Minister of the Sunshine Cathedral. With me today are the Reverend Dr. Ann Atwell and Reverend Kevin Tisdall. We are the Queer God Squad. Visit sunshinecathedral.org to learn more about us. Queer God Squad was created by Hotspots Happening Out to support our mission to explore the value of faith and the LGBTQ community. There's no streaming TV show like this in the entire world.
In 2026, we are celebrating the 41st anniversary of Hotspots magazine, with Queer News Tonight sharing over 11,000 stories and 11 million views so far. We are the largest nonprofit LGBTQ media organization in America, and we encourage you to support our mission to inform, entertain, and educate our community and allies.
We are proud to announce that Hotspots Happening Out is a beneficiary of the Florida AIDS Walk. Funds raised will be matched dollar for dollar in support of Hotspots Happening Out HIV policy reform and educational programs, including the MSM conference. We invite you to join in the walk by signing up at www.faw.lgbt. Join us on March 21st to walk in support of the community impacted by HIV.
This is the Sunshine Cathedral perspective. Legislation in Florida seems to attempt to silence minority populations. The Florida Senate recently passed the Anti-Diversity in Local Government Bill, a sweeping measure that would ban and defund any local government programming or policies providing so-called preferential treatment based on race, sex, sexual orientation, or gender identity. Passing with a 25-11 vote, the legislation now heads to the House before reaching Governor DeSantis' desk. Critics, including advocacy group Equality Florida and some bipartisan local officials, warn the bill is a, quote, sledgehammer that threatens decades of progress. They argue that its vague language could lead to the cancellation of pride festivals, the repeal of local human rights ordinances, and the defunding of minority-focused health programs and chambers of commerce. Furthermore, the bill empowers the state to remove local officials from office for DEI-related activities. Supporters frame the bill as a needed step to eliminate so-called identity-based favoritism, while opponents view it as an extreme escalation of state censorship and exclusion. Well, this makes my ass want to dip a snuff. I can't stand anything about this. First of all, let's make sure I got the language right. DEI, DEI is a problem that they can come in and fire you because you are being, you value diversity, because you're being inclusive, because you think equity is a good thing. That is insane. And for people who are using religion as a cover to support this kind of bigotry, DEI, straight up Christian values. That's what the gospel is. The gospel is about including more people and being fair to everyone. And if that's true, you're going to have diversity. The Feast of Pentecost is the feast of DEI.
Yay.
So if you're doing, if you're calling yourself Christian, if you're calling yourself a person of faith, this needs to get on your nerves as much as it's getting on my nerves. Now, about this ID-based favoritism, are you serious right now? The whole point of affirmative action, DEI, is to prevent people who aren't in the majority from being excluded. It's not favoritism to say that we will exclude you because of who you are. That's not favoritism to the person who's being protected. To not have it is favoritism to the majority. And so, we want to make sure that, now a lot of times it's innocent, it's bad, but it's not conscious. People who look like them, that went to the same schools they went to. And so you just sort of consciously will say, oh, I went to something state and they went to something state. So, or I was a member of Alpha something and they're a member of Alpha something. And so you just sort of draw people to people who like you. But by doing that, you're going to exclude people who aren't like you. And so DEI and affirmative action, those things are to prevent that, so that you have to consider people who are equally qualified, but not from your little bubble. That's all it is. And when you say you can't do that, what you're saying is, we want you to be able to keep your bubble, and everyone else out of it.
Right.
there is this assumption that if you are BIPOC or queer or woman or person who's differently abled, that you can't really be competitive. You couldn't really do anything without just being handed it as a favor. And so there's this racist and misogynist and homophobic and bias to this, merit-based only. No, you're afraid of merit-based, which is why you don't want people who are meritorious to not be excluded. So yes, you can't. There is no racial preference for not excluding minorities. If you don't have that, what you have is a racial preference for white people, or a preference for straight cisgender men, or a preference for people who were born in the United States, or a preference for people who don't have a wheelchair, or who aren't visually impaired, or whatever. So these things saying, are basic. They are protection for white people. This is a white supremacist legislation.
Right.
This is the government giving protection to white supremacy, and that's evil.
You know, the Florida governor for, I think, the entire time of his administration has been this war on woke. And woke really means care, compassion, empathy, paying attention to people's needs.
Right.
And he has declared a war on that kind of thing. So truly, I don't know how, if you live in the state of Florida and you call yourself a Christian or a good person, exactly, just simply a good person, how you can agree with this kind of thing. It really is. It steps up the escalation of censorship, of exclusion, and I know that may be what our governor wants, but that truly doesn't present Christian value at all.
You're 106 years old, so you remember when madness like this would when madness like this would be happening. And what would the older people say? They would say, "Stay woke."
Stay woke.
So
Stay woke.
Woke wasn't just about DEI. Woke was bullshit is happening. Pay attention.
Yes, exactly.
So of course there's a war on woke because they don't want you to pay attention when they're doing wrong.
You're right. And I just heard on the radio that Iran's new Ayatollah just called Florida way too far right wing.
Shut up. Shut up.
Are you really?
It's a joke.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Oh my goodness.
Which radio
You know,
station
my friends here know that I have a warped sense of humor. But I remember seeing a video years ago where there's a line of people, 20, 30 people, and the person talking to them, they're getting ready to run a race. He says, any of you who are white, take one step forward.
Yeah.
Any of you who are men, take one step. And it just kept going forward and forward. And then when you got to the end, a couple of people were like 2 inches from the finish line, and everybody else was further behind. And I think that's what we talk about.
And then the gun goes off. Run.
And then the gun go. And that's like, I think what we talk about when we talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion, that so many people don't see their privilege until it's pointed out to them. And it's so weird that in this state, when their privilege is pointed out to them, they go, yeah, and?
Yeah.
I mean, really, that to me is what the attitude is. So it is, so it shall be.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't work if all of us are not afforded an equal opportunity to be ourselves the way we were created to be.
There's this another not video, but like a cartoon or a meme or something that explains it so well. There's like a 5-foot fence, and a 6-foot person, and a 5-foot person, and a 4-foot person or whatever. Well, the 6-foot person just sees over the fence. They don't need anything. But the 5-foot person needs a little tiny stool to see over there. And then there's 4.5. They need a couple of stools. They need a little, just so they can all be the same head level.
Yes.
So equity, if it's equality, everyone go up to the fence and everyone gets a chance to look over it. Except I'm disadvantaged. I can't.
Yeah.
So equity is just accounting for the disadvantages. Okay, now we can all see over the fence. Now tell me what you see. Now it is equitable.
Yes.
And why wouldn't they want that? Why wouldn't anybody want that? Why wouldn't anybody to have equal access?
I think that it scares their ability to say, I'm better than you. And it also scares them that cis white men especially, they see their numbers diminishing, and they see that there is going to be a point in history where they may not be the majority, and that scares the living crap out of them.
They are 100% trying to enact a form of apartheid.
Yes.
Because already, as of right now, collectively, non-white people are the majority of the planet.
Yes, sir.
And so, I mean, if you break it down to, this color level brown and this level black, okay, it's different. But if collectively, all non-white people are the majority of the world.
Yeah.
And that's why they say, they're against immigration, because they assume that immigrants will favor one party over the other. Yeah, the one that doesn't demonize them.
Yeah, that's a biggie.
And then that will affect future elections. It's all about, because they are surrounded by the rest of the world, and just like apartheid, where this tiny white government, this huge country of brown and black people, that's what they want, because that's the only way that they can do it, because they are about to be, and they have treated minorities so abominably, they're desperately afraid of being one, because they know that they will probably do what they have done to them.
That's the biggest fear, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they might not would have otherwise, but now almost certainly they would, just for revenge.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe just people are better than this little group of hateful people. But the parallels to South Africa and to Nazi Germany are undeniable anymore.
Agreed.
Of course, and the other point, but the flip side of that is that both of those regimes took their cues from U.S. history. Yeah. So, so maybe we're the ones that should have been afraid of it the whole time. But it is in your face right now.
Yep.
And it's time to do something. If nothing else, then distance ourselves from people who call themselves religious but are in favor of these gross injustices.
Amen.
And that's today with the Queer God Squad.
Thank you for joining the Queer God Squad today. We are here daily at 3 p.m. to have some fun and to discuss what our LGBTQ community is talking about. Please like and share this and other episodes of the Queer God Squad.
Sunshine Cathedral is the world's leading progressive queer church. Progressive, queer, and God are words that naturally should go together. Remember that we are all in this together, and also remember, you are God's miracle and not God's mistake. Until next time, we are the Queer God Squad.